Well, hey guys, how's it going? This is the JJPRO P130 Battler. Now, this is a pretty good looking quad that has come out from JJPRO. I have to say that it seems like they're stepping up their game a little bit. It seems like they've been known in the past for toy quads. So this is a full quad, a little racing quad. It's got an ACE32 board in it. I'm running Spectrum satellite on it, so it has a Spectrum satellite port on it, which is nice. Some pretty nice landing gears, and it is 4S capable as well. So it is running 12 amp ESCs, the fly colors, and 1806 2300 kV motors. So a lot of good points about this copter. Now, I don't recommend this quad though, not for a beginner at least, unless you're buying the ready to fly one. This is the almost ready to fly version that I received from gearbest.com, and I'm going to go over some of the pros and cons about it and why I don't really recommend it, because there's quite a bit of soldering and know-how that has to go on before you can fly this quad. Alright guys, so first things first, let's go over everything that's in the box so you guys will know what comes in it. Here we are. We have all the parts laid out and it comes fully built and a very clean build as it comes here. So in this little green bag comes the 850 milliamp 3S LiPo pack. It seems adequate for beginners. Not a whole lot of power right off the bat. It has a battery strap, which is really nice. 2 sets of blue digital camo props, which I'll get to in a little bit. Pretty nice looking props, so they're nice and strong. So they give you this Allen key, which is also used for tightening the motor caps, and also some extra camera equipment, as you can see here. Now this charger is something that you can use for charging 1 to 3 cells, I believe. And unfortunately, mine came with no power cable. There's no power cable included with it, so I had to steal one off of one of my computer battery chargers, or my laptop battery chargers. So now, guys, taking a look at the entire quad here, we're just going to go over it kind of from front to back. The top plate has a little bit of a weird tilt. I mean, why is the back standoff taller than the front standoffs? It really doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know if they ran out of the same standoffs or what was happening there, but yeah, it's a little perplexing there. So all right, just getting a good look at the ACE32 board and also the nice little PDB that's in there. So these are the 2300 kV motors, the 1806s. They seem like they have enough power when you're running under 4S. 3S seems to be really inadequate, so we're going to go over that in just a bit. It has this really nice little sticker on the bottom of it. This is really great for protecting the little ESCs that are underneath there, and also the nice feet that tend to help when you land. Also, I'm pointing out here the LEDs are really fantastic on this little quad. But you can see the little camera that's in the front here. Now, this camera has a nice field of view, which is 150 degrees, but anytime you try and tilt the camera up, it will only go about 10 degrees. So that was a really big oversight on the part of JJRC. Now, I understand that you can flip the camera mount, the part that's attached to the frame, backwards, and it'll give you a little bit more tilt, but not much at all. So just there's a couple of little design quirks like that that's going to go along with this build. So we are really trying to catch up with all the little design quirks that are with this quad here. One thing you guys are going to notice is the enormous wires that are coming out of the back of the power distribution board to plug into your battery where the XT60 is. These are the type of wires that you would put on a very, very large quad. So what it's doing on this 130 is a little bit perplexing. It's just extra weight and way overkill. So now we're going to go over the instruction manual, or lack thereof. Unfortunately, there's nothing redeeming about the instruction manual. It basically just tells you that there are some parts and there's no instructions on how to put them together or what you need to do or steps to follow. So unfortunately, this is not adequate for anybody getting into the hobby or or anyone looking for any instruction. I mean, you don't even know what kind of board it is. I know it's a 38 NACE 32, but there's several different versions of it. So, and here I found a computer supply plug for the charger, which does work, by the way, and you'll see it plugged in just a second here. And I did charge up the battery with this charger, and it did a fine job, and it actually balanced out all the cells just fine. But this is something that if you're an experienced modeler that you just won't use, you usually put these in a drawer and give it to somebody that might need it. If you guys are going to be running S-Bus, what I would recommend is to remove the NACE 32 board and this giant bundle of cables that's underneath the NACE 32 board. That is not necessary. If you're going to be running satellite receivers from Spectrum like I am, you will need to tap into the board where it shows the Spectrum port, but it's not labeled in any way. So take a quick peek at this, my cord coming out right here that leads into the Spectrum receiver, and that is the order that you'll need to put the red, black, and yellow. Alright guys, so I'm going to be going over just very quickly all the pros and cons of this Battler 130 quad, okay? So pro number one, it's fully built, which is very, very cool. I like the props, I like the digital camo, it's very inventive. I've never seen this before. I think it's pretty cool, even though you don't see the props when you're in flight, but I like design, as you guys might know. It has a little port on it so you can run your Spectrum satellite right off it, which is what I like to do right here. This is 4S capable. It doesn't say it in the instructions. Actually, it's a little confusing because some instructions do say that it is and some say that it's not, but I've plugged 4S into it. Everything's working fine. Didn't burn out the camera or anything like that. So it's a very clean build. Whoever built these, they're really very well put together, I think. It's a very cool shape as well. I like the little Gothic points that are on here on the ends of the arms. It just makes it look like Red Baron style. Very, very nice. As you guys know, I like design. So now the cons, and unfortunately there's so many cons on here that it's a hard quad to recommend. However, you know, when I mention cons and pros, a lot of times someone will say, oh, that's not so bad, I can deal with that. Or some people say, oh, that's a deal breaker. So the battery placement is a big problem on this quad. If you can see, you cannot get this battery far enough forward without interfering with this antenna here. Obviously you want to have the battery usually centered over the NACE 32, so it's right in the center of the quad. I have this pushed pretty far, as far forward as it's ever going to get. And it needs to go further a little bit more because basically when you hold it in the center here, it's going to be tipped to the back when you hold it here. So you can see it's kind of tipping backwards. So in a crash, this placement of this antenna is one of the worst places for it, because obviously this battery can go sliding forward and it can just shear off this antenna. So that is not good at all. I've had micro antennas before, and this is by far the flimsiest one I've ever seen. In fact, when it came out of the box, it was severely bent and smashed, and that is just going to get ready to break pretty soon here. So the canted top plate, which I mentioned earlier, is not cool. It just needs to be one solid height, and the back really needs to be wider, or it would be better to have two standoffs here and one here as well. So because this, if you take a look at it, no matter how tight you get this, watch this, that's not good. You can already see it's gonna be bent there a little bit. So battery cables are definitely too big for this size of a quad. There's no low voltage beeper, which was something you can add in though. And of course this camera tilt is just a huge issue. If you're going to be flying fast forward at all, you're going to need to angle your camera forward up, so as you're flying down like this, you're not looking at the ground, you can actually see. Now I saw one reviewer, he said you can take off this piece right here and flip it around 180, so basically spaces the camera back a couple millimeters, and then you can get maybe a couple more degrees of tilt. But basically as it is, you're at about 10 degrees. You need to be at least 20 degrees to have any sort of effective flying. Of course, when that happens, it's going to pull this antenna closer to the board, and you know, it's just this is just a big mess right up here. So yeah, that is pretty much it. If you're running S-Bus, you can just take out, there's this big gob of wires that's back here that's plugged into the bottom of the NACE 32 board, so just go ahead and yank that out. Anyway, so that, like I said, some of you guys might be saying, oh, well, that's not so bad, or it's not, you know, it's something I can live with. So I want you guys to make your own decision on that. But for me, it missed on so many spots that I couldn't really recommend this for anybody that would be looking at getting into a quad. So, hey guys, it's 7Demo7. I'm in Parakai Hill, and it's getting cold out. It's getting to be winter pretty soon here. I know some people have already had snow, but I'm just gonna check out this one quad here. Let me show you what I have going on. Okay guys, so this is the Battler by JJRC. Got little 2300 kV motors. They're 1806s with these tiny little props. This kind of crooked top plate here. I'll go over this in a bit, but this is going to be the initial flight of it. I went ahead and flashed the firmware and all that stuff on the NACE 32 board, and I have a Spectrum satellite receiver with the antennas popping up the side there. So I'm just gonna kind of put this on my car here, and we shall fly around a little bit. So right off the bat, it's got some cool little LEDs on the back and the front here, some blues on the front, some red on the back, of course. Okay guys, so I actually did a quick flight at my office before flying this here at the field, and now it came with basically bone stock NACE 32 settings that come stock on the board with clean flight, and it just wasn't adequate enough. That, I mean, it was so unstable, and it wanted to tip over, so I definitely needed to up my I gains, my P gains, the D gains a little bit, and the roll rates. It didn't fly good at all. I mean, this right now, as you can see, it wobbles just a little bit, and I just need to do a little bit more tuning to get that out. But as a stock flyer, it was severely underwhelming. So make sure that if you are buying this quad, that you have a friend that knows how to tune, and they can really help you out in just a few minutes. It does fly quite nice. I didn't do any FPV with it, though I'll do that in a subsequent video. Anyway, hopefully you guys like the rest of this video.